Mộc Văn và dân biểu Craig Kelly xin kính chào quý vị khán giả của đài truyền hình SBTN. Thưa quý vị, tại phòng thu hôm nay chúng tôi có dân biểu hạt địa phận Hughes, ông là Craig Kelly, và chúng tôi đang thực hiện chương trình phỏng vấn chính trị gia hàng tuần mang tên là CHảo in DEPTH. Thì đây là một cái chương trình của đài SBTN Úc Châu và chúng tôi sẽ tập trung vào các chủ đề mà khán thính giả quan tâm hiện nay về đời sống kinh tế, xã hội cũng như là nhân dụng, di trú và các vấn đề, các cái chủ đề lớn khác. So good morning to you, Craig Kelly, and welcome to our studio.
Yeah, good morning. It's great to be here, and I must admit the new studio looks absolutely fantastic.
Yep, and thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk a bit about the economy, about other issues in the country, because we believe that our audience love to hear more and more from you. Now, let's talk about the China crash, the stock market, and Australia's position in that. What is your take to that?
We've seen some instability in the share market over the last week. We've seen China's growth perhaps not being where it would expect it to be. But you have to remember, China's share market values have had an amazing increase over the last 12 months. So I think what we're seeing is just a minor correction. We're seeing those share markets bounce up and down. And history shows that in the long term, shares are a good investment. The fundamentals of Australian economy are still very, very strong. So I am still very, very confident about the future.
So shall we hold tight and then be control of our destiny?
Look, I think absolutely. I think the worst thing anyone could do at the moment would be panic and rush and sort of exit all their shares. I think that would be the worst thing they could possibly do.
Yes, and let's talk about the employment or unemployment issues within your electorate and Australia-wide.
Okay.
Are we seeing more jobs created
in
Australia?
Look, since the election of this coalition government, we've seen the creation of 335,000 new jobs. Most of those jobs also created have been full-time. This has been a fantastic effort when we compare it to the previous Labor government. We had very, very low employment growth. But saying that, our unemployment rates are still high. There are many areas of the country where our unemployment, especially for our youth, is still too high. So we need, as a government is not the people that create jobs. It's those private sectors, those businesses, our entrepreneurs create jobs. We have to, as government, make sure that we give them the opportunities, we give them the incentives to go out there, to invest, to have a go, and to create those more jobs we need in our economy.
Right. Now, how do you think about the Treasurer's $20,000 tax write-off?
Look, that was very important for small business.
Yes.
History has shown that it's always the small business that drive the job growth in any country. That's what we're seeing here in Australia. So we want to make sure that we give those small businesses in our country the opportunity and the reward to go out there to have a go when they're doing. So what we've done, there's two things we've done. We've lowered the corporate tax rate. So previously, if you had a small business, you would pay 30% on your company profits. We've now lowered that rate down to 28.5%. This hopefully will be a major incentive for people to continue to invest in small business. Additionally, what we've done, we've provided a $20,000 instant asset write-off. So if you're in small business and you have a company that's under $2 million, what you can actually do is go out there, you can buy an asset up to $20,000, and where previously you would have to write that off over 5 years, you can write that off immediately on your taxation, which means you reduce your taxation bill immediately this year up front. This is an encouragement for small business to get out there and invest and to create those jobs.
Thank you. And one of the issues of concerns within our electorate, our city life, is the spread of ICE. Now, we heard that the government, the Tony Abbott government, is doing something about that, and you are a member of the Law Enforcement Committee of the Parliament of Australia, also doing something about that. Tell us more about
one of the jobs that I've had the Prime Minister has given me is to chair what we call the Joint Parliamentary Law Enforcement Committee. We're doing an inquiry currently into the effects of methamphetamines, or more commonly known as the drug ice. We've seen this as having devastating effects across our community. Many of our young people are getting sucked in to getting involved in this drug culture, which is doing themselves enormous harm. It's putting enormous pressure on our hospital system. It's really devastating families. It's destroying families and destroying lives. So as government, we have to look carefully what we can do to try and alleviate this problem. I think personally, we need greater emphasis on education. We need to educate our kids to make them realise of the dangers that if they go down this trek on drugs. We need to emphasise what a fantastic country we actually live in and the opportunities that they come, and they can't throw their lives away by trying to get one sort of cheap short-time high through the drug ice.
Yes. What are the main concerns of your electorate or people in your electorate at the moment, and how are you going to address their concerns?
Look, the main concerns I'd put down to, of course, it's the economy. It's the economy, the economy, the economy. That's the most important thing. Okay. Everything comes off the back of having a growing and prosperous economy. Where we're looking at more money for schools or for roads or hospitals or aged care or disability services, we can only finance those things if we have a growing and prosperous economy. So that's the main concern of the people in my electorate. What is the government doing to encourage growth in our economy? And one of the things we're really doing, we can see we're creating opportunities, is through those 3 free trade agreements, what we've signed with China, with Japan and with South Korea. This will drive our economy. This will create opportunity for business. This will create more jobs and higher paying jobs. That's the feedback that I'm getting from my local community. The other issue, of course, is issues of national security. People are concerned. They see the turmoil that's happening in the Middle East. They see the terrorist attacks that are happening in many other parts of the world. And they want to be sure that in Australia, that doesn't happen here. And that's what, as a government, we are focusing on very strongly, to make sure we have a very strong emphasis on national security.
And we believe that your electorate is very multicultural. And have you take some opportunities to see the Vietnamese speaking
absolutely.
communities?
I'm very fortunate. I do have a very multicultural electorate. Parts of Liverpool, parts of Bankstown, and also parts of Sutherland. This is a wonderful electorate that I represent, and I think the great thing about being such a multicultural electorate is you get to go and you get to experience so many other different cultures.
Yes.
We know the Vietnamese community plays such a big role here in southwest Sydney. We know that how entrepreneurial they are. We've seen the enormous contribution that they've made to Australia. And Australia has been one of the great beneficiaries of the migration from the people from Vietnam to Australia. They're leading the way in our community, and I'm very proud to have them as part of my electorate.
Picking on migrants, heritage, and Australian constitution, and nowadays there's a talk that the Aborigines heritage and migrant heritage be recognized as part of Australian constitution. What is your opinion?
Yes, we are, as our Prime Minister has said, we have a Indigenous background with our Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islanders. Yeah. They settled the country first, thousands and thousands of years ago, and we're here for many, many thousands of years before we had white settlement. We have an English tradition, English institutions and backgrounds. We have currently we're a multicultural country. It's important our Constitution recognises these issues, but it's also important that our Constitution recognises first and foremost as all Australians. It shouldn't matter what our background is or where we come from or where our parents were born. Overriding our Constitution has to represent us all as Australians and unite us rather than divide us.
Excellent. I like that. Thanks so much, Craig Kelly, for coming to talk to us, and all the best with your life in Canberra and in the electorate of Hills.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, and I look forward to being back many times in this wonderful new studio that you guys have put together. Congratulations on the effort you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là cuộc phỏng vấn chính trị do Mộc Văn thực hiện với dân biểu Craig Kelly, hạt Hughes ở New South Wales. Và cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi. Xin hẹn gặp lại trong những lần sau. Xin kính chào quý vị.